Well, hello, folks, and welcome to Sunday, May 10th, here at about 6:15 p.m. So, hello, everybody. I've been doing some spring cleaning today, so up in my room, because it's been a while since I've done so. So, there's a couple things I have to kind of do. Just taking a break right here to shoot a vlog and well, got something to eat, and now I'm shooting a vlog. So, hello everybody. I am. I guess. So I guess. And I did watch the NASCAR race today. Shane Van Gisbergen won at the going bowling at the Glen race today. That race just finished about half an hour ago, almost about an hour ago. So it's about 6:40, 6:35, 6:40. So almost about an hour ago. Well, about 50 minutes ago, they dropped the checkered flag. So pretty eventful race. A lot of hitting, a lot of stuff like that. It's been pretty good. So. Been pretty good. So, thought I might start indie content. Well, starting indie content since this week is time trial week at the Speedway. So yeah, so this week is time trial week at the Speedway. So I thought I would do I know I've done the history and the intro beforehand. So I thought I'd tell you guys about a little history about Bump Day. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what's Bump Day? Bump Day is the last chance qualifying. They call it last chance qualifying now, but it was called Bump Day. There's not going to be one this year because there's enough cars to just make with the field, so there's no bumping going on. But in years past, teams had to. Now there's only 33 spots on the grid. 33 spots on the grid, and if I just wanted to give you guys a refresher if you guys didn't watch one of the videos last year or the year before, but it used to be called the Indy 500 sweepstakes race, and they would actually do a draw. They actually how they would make up the grid spots is through a raffle draw or a random draw, and whatever place you got on the raffle sweepstakes raffle was your determining spot, because they didn't. Because they wanted it to become a sweepstakes, and they didn't want to make it that easy, even though the oval was daunting enough in the early 1900s. They did that sweepstakes format for, I forget how long they did it. They did it for quite a bit, and then eventually, once tire technology and once the Speedway became better, they ended up just going with the qualifying and stuff like that. So, and I think it was also to limit what was happening with the cars, because you guys remember the Brickyard was made out of bricks, so you can only imagine, the suspension and everything, having to take a beating, and they only wanted to limit it for the 500-mile distance. So the 33 spots, and there's only 33. If there's more than 33 cars, usually the cars that come in, they practice, and and first if you have a rookie, and first you have to do the rookie orientation test, and you have to be able to demonstrate that your car can go at speed on the speedway because of the speeds they attain. So you have to be able to do that. If your car didn't have enough steam, or you were a new driver, or it was a new car entered, something like that, the car had to be able to keep up with the speeds anyway. So if you weren't fast when you're opening orientation or your practice trials, then there was a huge thing. And I think they still do that orientation / testing today. I mean, a lot of the rookies have to do it. So if anybody's a rookie, they have to do it. Anybody who hasn't competed on the oval has to do it. They have to attain a certain mile an hour, and then they have to come to the next day and then attain the next phase of it. They have to do that. There's two reasons why that's done. One, you have to be able to maintain your speed, and in a racetrack that's all about high speed, you have to be able to keep up with the pack or be able to stay competitive on the race course, because especially today with how the cars are going 200 plus now, 225, 230, you can't be lagging at the back of the pack going 200 and just expecting to do all right. So that's the reason why they do that. So bump day, now bump day usually has now, in order to go through bump day, you have to have a certain speed. So the top people in the field, the top runners in the field, are obviously going to qualify one of the first days, the second day, or the third day. It used to be 1 or 2 days, 2-3 days, and then they just had practices, and then they had the time trials. Well, actually, I think they still do it because they have Fast Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and obviously Sunday's pole day. So, but the last gasp qualifying is for those who are on the bubble, and this is usually reserved for certain individuals. This is reserved for the times, for the people who haven't really been up to speed, people who've really struggled during practice, and people who just couldn't get in there. And usually this is when they have too many entrants. So let's say they have 37 cars, and there's only 33 spots. So 4 cars will have to go. If you can somehow get let's say the slowest speed in the back is 224 or 223, 224, and you're a team that was struggling, to get near that, and you've been slowly getting up to that during practice, and you're sort of fine-tuning your car, and you somehow find the sweet spot, then you have to take what changes you made and try to throw that into the race car and almost put the car on the raggedy edge to get it across the finish line, doing those 4 magic laps, 10 miles and almost 2.5 minutes of time trials to get that to happen. And this is after the grid is set, and they're having trouble filling the last couple of spots. So, and they're not at the threshold they need to be, because there is a threshold of how slow and how fast you can be on the speedway. As I said, it's a safety thing, because if your pull speed is, well, let's say the bump speed is 224 and the pull speed is 234, and there's the last couple of spots. So let's say there's 2 spots left in the field. So let's say you've made all those improvements, and one team has made the improvements that it's needed to make, and then there's one team that hasn't. So that team goes out, and you have 3 attempts. You have 3 attempts during last chance qualifying, and you have 3 chances to do it. Historically, there's been 3 chances because, and have those 3 chances been used over time? Yes. Very rare, though, that both cars in the team have used it. I know of one team that has, one year in the mid-90s, but so one team runs. So let's say the 4 cars that want to go for the last 2 spots, let's say one goes out and does a 221 in the first lap, does a 222. The average of that speed is not going to go up because of the way how the car, usually that's a car that, and this is the team that didn't set up their car right, or they've just dialed it out completely and haven't figured out the assignment on balance, and they get to wave off their run, and the next car goes in, and they're able to, and they seem to get their setup bang on. They start running 224, a 225. They hover around the 225 mark, and then maybe they'll do a 226 or 227. They'll probably average out to a 225. They get in the field. And then the other 2 cars, let's just say, have similar problems, and the other cars have similar problems. One set up wrong, one set up right, but not quite there. So let's say the car that's set up right will make the field, and the other 2, let's say the other 2 are set up the same way. See how this is going to go here. And then one of the other teams puts on a decent performance, and puts them on the bubble, and vice versa. The other crew cars won't perform well and they're bumped out, and they lose their spot in the field. So it's happened many, many times. I think the only time that the that 3 attempt thing has been used was Ellenser Jr. in Emerson Fittipaldi back in 1995, back when the 95 Penske's, which were basically 94 cars, but with some upgrades. But I guess it had a suspension issue. Its suspension was honed wrong, so it was lacking handling. So it was sort of next to. So it was sort of. And they went to another, and that's the other thing. They went to another chassis, and they both got bumped out. I think Alonso Jr. did not make it. His third and final run was like 223 something, and Emerson Fittipaldi did a 224.907. But Stefan Johansson. So Emerson did make it into third spot, but Stefan Johansson came out in a old Penske chassis and ended up. I think it was a Chevrolet. I think it might have been, and they ended up getting things spot on. I think the Tony Bettenhausen, the Remax team ended up using an older chassis, and they used the chassis, and they were able to get consistent lap times of like 224, 225, and then 226 on one lap or something like that. And they were able to bump Emerson Fittipaldi out of the field, and Penske, and that would be the last time Penske would ever run at the Indy 500, because next year all the kart teams were pushed out, and Emerson ran for a couple more years, and then Ellenser Jr. and it was a huge devastating hit for Team Penske. So that's how bump day works, and it can be an amazing thing if you make it in, but it can be a terrible thing if you don't. If you get, it can be a terrible thing. It can be an amazing thing if you get in. Jubilation and excitement, but if you get bumped out, it can be a lot worse. So that's bump day explained. So it's the day where the teams that underperform but need to get in the field or haven't made qualifying attempts come in, and they do it. Either they get bumped out or they do. That's not going to happen this year because there's no extra cars, because there's exactly 33, unless somebody crashes heavily, or if somebody does that. But they just have last chance. They have last chance qualifying just in case any of that happens. It's put in there just in case, because they don't know if they're going to add cars. So that's me and my explanation of bump day. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Peace out, and I have to finish cleaning my room so I can have it fresh for the week. All right, you guys, peace out. See you guys in the vlog tomorrow. Peace.